listen to this, guys. The United States was not the only one raising interest rates. Across the pond, the Bank of England raised interest rates by 75 basis points, marking its largest hike since 1989. Bank of England Governor Andrew Bailey made a statement yesterday saying, "It's a tough road ahead. The sharp rise in energy prices have made us poor as a nation." Garrett, how was my English accent? And with England's economy falling on hard times and failing, how might its decline impact us in the States?
UK and Europe have been the canaries in the coal mine when it comes to this kind of issue with inflation and also what's transpiring around the broader issue of liquidity in the markets. So you had that whole freak out, the whole panic with the gilts that transpired over the last few months. You also have this massive inflationary event transpiring in Europe with its alternative energy crisis and the energy crisis that's transpiring in the UK. So I look at this and I just say, this is just our warning sign. This is exactly what can and will happen if things are taken too far, whether that is too many increases around the Fed funds rate to create an unknown that we don't know, or we follow the European path on energy and we find ourselves struggling for fuel in the winter. We already have a crisis up in the Northeast involving a lot of our heating oil, but this whole concept that we're just going to be able to magically flip a switch, turn off oil, turn off natural gas, and not be able to have resources ourselves is an issue. So looking forward, I would anticipate that this is going to spill over at some point. Pay very close attention to what is happening in the UK, what happens after their interest rates increase another 75 basis points. If you see another liquidity issue kind of pop up, if you see any of their banks like Barclays, or you pay attention to the banks in Switzerland like Credit Suisse or UBS, if their problems continue to compound, it is a little bit of a preview of how ugly things could get here in 2023.
Right. I mean, they were also warning of recession in the late fourth quarter. Do you see that trickling over here as the U.S. could get into a deep recession?
They're predicting the worst recession on record over in the United Kingdom right now. That just came out yesterday. As far as it comes for us, yes, we're anticipating a deep recession. And I think that I have to go back and look at who specifically said it. I think it was Bridgewater. Somebody came out yesterday and basically said that we are looking at an extremely deep recession if we don't get inflation under control relatively quickly. So looking at this again, I think Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, and then the first two quarters of 2024 are likely to be recessionary. I think it's going to be deep, probably 18 to 24 months.
Some people in the chat are agreeing with me. When you said the worst recession, wouldn't that be depression?
Maybe I'm going back to 1942. Forgive me. Probably back since World War II. So the UK was not impacted that same way. I wouldn't say that. I don't think we're going to have a depression. I don't think that's statistically probable, given the fact that they'll just continue to pour money onto the problem if we were put in that position.
Yeah, well, just throw some money on it and some Windex. It's like my big fat Greek wedding. That's what the Fed is doing. They're just spraying our economy with Windex to fix it.
2 recessions in a row is a depression. That is not true. That's known as a double dip recession. A depression is a minus 20 is a deep, significant, multiple 10% downturns quarter over quarter.
Yeah, and Garrett, I think the best way out of recession, out of the inflationary problems, are one, kind of getting our energy policy straight. But the other thing that I think is overlooked is worker productivity that has been falling off a ledge. Worker productivity is getting worse and worse. How do we solve that problem? And why is worker productivity, and why is, one of the things that really boomed the economy for, 20 plus years, or 10 plus years was the growth in worker productivity. Why is it completely falling off a ledge?
Oh, there's a couple of different arguments for this. I think the primary one is we're at the lowest level since 1940. Oh no, I think it's 48 years. So the decline in productivity. I think there's the key argument is the theoretical argument that people aren't receiving enough compensation for their work. It's the risk reward type of argument that has that has transpired over the years. But again, I think there's a lot of issues involving technology. I think there's a lot of cultural issues. I think it's a very difficult thing to answer at 9:30 at 9 o'clock in the morning on a Friday out of one bloodshot eye.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well,
I'm interested to see whether I'm interested to see whether some of this work from home stuff that's ending, it does manage to help some of that productivity pick back up. But that is a serious problem, folks. Something to keep an eye on.
Yeah. Lack of structure. Training is not the same as it used to be. Focusing on people don't like to be micromanaged, and turns out that sometimes micromanagement actually does work. But that's a whole other argument for another day.
I can't be managed. I cannot be managed.
Stop telling me what.
Do not put a chain on me.
Stop telling us what to do, Garrett.
You're not. No one. All right, guys.
I'm going to stand over your shoulder for the rest of the day.